Hi everybody, welcome to Paper Wishes Weekly Webisodes. I'm Lene Gehrig, and today I'm really excited to bring you from our friends at Impression Obsession these wonderful slimline scenes rubber stamps. They're perfect to go along with the slimline cards, which are 8.5 by 3.5 inches, and Paper Wishes has them by the pack that you can buy. I think it's a 10-pack with the card and the matching envelope, so you don't have to try to source the envelope size. So I can't wait to show you what I did with them, so come play with us. So for my first card, I used the large tree-lined hillside duo. And this is what they look like. They are two. This one has some hardwood trees here and also some pine trees. So what I did was I started off with the pine trees in the background of my stamp. I also like to stamp on Hunky Dory Lightweight Essential Card Block. And this one, it has 75 sheets in it. I've used this like crazy. So I've got about half of that amount in here. Cover's ripped off. I mean, but I just wanted to grab it and show you because it is perfect size for this. So I cut a little piece of that down and to fit, and I covered my slimline card with black cardstock, then just a little bit of hammered gold paper there. And then I used from Prism the ombre ink pads in green and brown. And for the green, it has 3 different shades of green. And I started off with my trees. I went ahead and I inked the pine trees, the entire tree, the entire stamp rather, with the lighter and the medium. So I sort of used this side of the stamp to color that all the lighter green, and then I went around just the edges, that top edge, with the darker green. So once I had finished inking that whole thing, then I went across and did just that top edge. And you can use your MISTI or your stamping platform. The slim lines fit perfectly in that. And I believe Paulette is also sourcing an acrylic block that is a longer one that fits slimline stamps. That'll be coming really soon if you prefer not to use a stamping platform. So once I stamped the pines, then I went ahead and stamped the leafy trees. Did the same thing with the ombre brown. I went ahead and started with first the dark and then went to the light. You can see there's a color change right there. But while that brown was still a little wet, I went ahead and I just took, using my fingers, I just took a pinch of this copper tinsel embossing powder, and this is from Stampendous. Took a little pinch and put it here along just those little brown trees, and then tapped off that excess, and then just gave that a little heat gun. And as you can see, it's just a little bit of sparkle there on those front brown trees. Then I used from their wonderful script greeting stamps. These are large winter greetings, and I used seasons greetings. I wanted to make this a holiday themed card because not everybody has snow at Christmas. Some people have lovely, beautiful, almost autumn still into the holidays. So that's what this card is for all of you folks. So now we've got our large mountain layers. There's 3 of those. And for this one, there we go. For this one, I started off with my largest mountain layer, which was this bottom one. And once again, I went to the ombre. Here we go. So I went to the ombre blues this time. I used the lightest color on my back mountain there. And then just along the edge of the mountain, I used that dark color and then stamped that. So that's how I got that sort of ombre look at the top. Then for the medium mountain, which was this one right here, you can see the large peak. I went ahead and I used the darkest color. And then right there, I didn't bring that lower layer up, which is the smallest layer. I didn't overlap it enough, so I had this like white space right there. So what I did was I just went ahead and I just took a little bit of that dark ink and I just colored that in. Just use my fingertip to do it. So there's a little bit of a smudgy there, but it just shows you that, you know, you don't have to be perfect at it. You can still fix it really easily. For that last mountain layer right there, I just use a black ink pad, and I just, my favorite kind of go-to black is the Memento Tuxedo Black ink, and it also stamped the greeting beautifully there. And finally, I went ahead and did the background up here. I used a blender brush right here and a little bit of that light blue and just went around the top of that mountain scene. And of course, just before I was ready to be done, I decided I'm going to tear that bottom edge, and then I matted it with black and tore the black bottom edge as well. And then added a little sparkly bow, and I think that is from Aqua ribbon set that is available at Paper Wishes. All right, so I wanted to show you too, using this one. This is the large sketched trees. This is what this one looks like when it is stamped using that ombre ink pad. I did the bottom part of the stamp. I used the darker green and the lighter green at the top. And for those of you who are interested in using this in the stamps in another way, you can use it in a smaller format for a card. So once I stamped that, then I just used the oval, the largest oval cutting die right there, and then used Christmas Memories cardstock to cut out that scalloped oval, and then used Christmas Memories paper pack for the green dot background. I cut a border, a little gingham border off of one of the papers, and then added the from Script Greeting and Tiny Words and Phrases. This is my favorite Christmas Dazzle words collection because you get these wonderful script long greetings, which are perfect to go with slimline cards, but you also get these really cute tiny words and phrases. So it's sort of a pack that's for one extreme to the other. If you just have a little greeting that you want to put on there, or a very long kind of stretched out greeting, we've got you covered on both of those. So yeah, you can see pretty versatile how you can use these stamps. So I just wanted to give you that thought too. Oops. And then for this one, this is the large Norway spruce. And this one I actually stamped on, this is the olive green suede paper, and it's wonderful. We have these new shades of suede and we've been using them a lot in our design work, and it feels just like real suede. So I wanted to stamp the tree on that, and we're going to use the Misty. So I'm going to show you how beautifully these stamps work on suede. So because our stamps are rubber stamps, they're cling rubber stamps, they're thicker like this, we want to take out the foam in the Misty. Okay, and I cut my paper to that size. All right, and I've got my stamp. I'm just going to center that about there, I think, to move that down. And because I'm stamping on fabric, or really sort of a plastic that's not going to be, it's not absorbent like paper is, I wanted to use, wrong ink pad, I wanted to use StazOn, which is a great permanence, a solvent ink, dries really quickly. So I've already, oh, I did not clean my stamp. So I'm just going to go ahead and go over the top of this. And what's great about using the Misty with really large stamps, if you go ahead and stamp it the first time and you didn't connect with all those spaces, it's easy to just go back and add more ink or add more pressure to another area. You don't have to start all over. There we go. Now I like that, but right there you can see I didn't quite connect. So I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit more ink there, put a little bit more muscle in it towards the center of my image. There, much better. All right. Move this, and remember to clean it now. All right, so then I went ahead and I took my gold Stickles glitter glue, and I just added some little specks of shimmering gold down my tree onto all those branches. As you can see, it goes really fast to do this. You just want to keep kind of a constant pressure on your glitter glue. That's going to take about 15 minutes to dry. In the meantime, I used my script greeting dazzles right here. I used the gold one, and I did have to trim off a little bit of extra of the little flourishes at the end, and then just put those at the bottom, and then one of the gold stars from this at the top of the tree. And then matted this on black cardstock and went ahead and added that to my slim line card. Pretty easy card. All right, and this last one I wanted to show you. This one's a really pretty fall card, and for this one I'm using the large bare tree line duo. Got trees without their leaves, hardwood trees if you will. So I also used on this, this is the More Greetings Dazzles, and they come in all these beautiful colors, metallics and then white, black, and this wonderful bronzy brown color that I just put right across that little sort of a sunset situation here. So I'm going to show you how I did this. I'm going to need my craft mat and card. And then what I did for my son is I just used a little piece of Post-it note or sticky notes and peeled one of those off, used a circle cutting die, small one that's probably 1.5 inches, and I made sure to cut so that I was into the sticky part when I cut, right? So that the edge of this is sticky and it gives it something to kind of cling to so I don't have to hold on to it so hard. So you want to get it, I'm a little low there, I want to go a little higher. So it's important to center it. And when I did my first card for this, I didn't center my circle enough, and so it was off a little bit, and so the whole card sort of looked off. So just make sure you get that in the center. And then I'm going to use, for my sky, I'm going to use the Honey Pot color from Harmony Inks, and I'm going to use my medium blender brush. And I'm just going to start off of the edge here. And I'm going to break this card into thirds. So the top 2/3 are getting color, and this bottom third right there, I'm just going to leave white. Okay, and now you might notice I'm coming off of the edge of my card, but you can also just kind of pat and blend, take the color from here, start over here. We're just trying to avoid those big splotchy circles that can sometimes happen when you use blender brushes. All right, so we've got our sky here. Now I'm going to go down to my smallest size blender brush, and I'm just going to really ink that up because I'm going to be going around the edges of the circle. And I'm going to go for a dark yellow around that because I'm going for a real halo situation. Go. And we're going to peel that away, and we're going to have our halo, our sunset. And then I'm just going to grab these two stamps. So for the background stamp, I did 2 shades of orange, really. This is a Chinese red, which is kind of an orange red, and then the orange color. And I just sort of mixed those together a little bit to figure out, okay, here we go, which stamp I used. So these backs just peel off very easily. I'm going to go back to our Misty. All right, and I'm going to put this just above, maybe a 1/4 inch above the bottom edge of the card, all right? Because I want to leave room for that brown edge to be stamped when I stamp the second row of trees. Okay. And the first I'm going to stamp with, or ink with, is the orange, because I want my trees to be primarily orange. And then I'm going to go back with the Chinese red, and I'm just going to stamp just a little bit, ink that a little bit there. Then I have two colors of trees, but I really feel like I didn't get enough red on there. I'm going to go back and add that just kind of the top edge of my trees. There we go. All right. And so then I'm going to do the exact same thing with the brown, but the brown I'm going to use, here we go. So the brown is the rustic brown, and I just chose it for its color, not for the fact that it is waterproof. And I will point out that there's new packaging going on here from Spectrum Noir. This is blue where they used to all be black. So I don't know, Paulette didn't know either if they're changing all their waterproof dye ink pads to a different color. So we'll just have to wait and see. So I did that next row of trees where there's 3 trees spaced out. Put those right there so they're just below the orange ones, and stamped that in brown. And then added my greeting and a little bit of orange twine, and I was all set. So you guys, we've got a great money saver on these wonderful stamps. They're really fun to play with, especially if you're getting into the slimline cards, and if not, they worked great for other card sizes, as you saw. So if you're watching us on our Webisode page, just check right over to the right and you'll see the money saver deal on that, and just click on that photo. And if you're watching us on YouTube, just look directly below the video in the description box and you'll find a link to the money saver, and you'll also find a link to paperwishes.com, where you'll find lots more videos like this and tutorials and lots of fun things to play with. So thanks for joining me today, and I'll see you next time.